All right, strap yourselves in because today we are diving deep into one of the most, unsettling chapters of American history.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I'm talking about MKUltra.
Oh, boy.
The CIA program so shadowy it makes the Manhattan Project look like a kindergarten play.
Not an exaggeration?
No, not at all. And to guide us through this maze of secrets, we're turning to a chapter from L. Robinson's book,
Okay.
Conspiracy Theories or Spoiler Alerts. Just the title alone is sending chills down my spine.
Oh, yeah, Robinson doesn't pull any punches. He actually suggests that MKUltra might still be active today.
Whoa, really? Okay, before we go down that rabbit hole, let's back up a bit.
Okay.
For those who might not be familiar, what was MKUltra?
In a nutshell, I mean.
How to sum up MKUltra? Well, essentially, it was a top-secret CIA program that ran for about 2 decades, from the 1950s to the 70s.
2 decades.
Yep. Its main goal, to weaponize the human mind.
Weaponize the human mind.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It was all fueled by Cold War paranoia.
Right. The Soviets, mind control, the whole 9 yards. Exactly. The U.S. was convinced that the Soviets were already ahead in this field, so they poured resources into MKUltra to, catch up.
It was like a mind control arms race.
You could say that.
Yikes. And what were they hoping to achieve? I mean, what were the CIA's objectives with MKUltra?
Oh, they had a whole laundry list of goals, some more ambitious than others. Developing truth serums for interrogations, creating amnesiac agents.
Like in the movies?
Yeah, exactly. But they also dabbled in even more far-out ideas like,
Go on.
creating assassins who could be programmed to carry out missions without even knowing it.
Oh, wow, like the Manchurian Candidate stuff?
Yeah, like straight out of a spy thriller. But here's the thing.
Oh.
This wasn't just some fantasy they were playing with on paper. MKUltra involved real experiments, real people.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah, and Robinson's chapter doesn't shy away from the details. He talks about unsuspecting civilians, soldiers,
And even a CIA employee.
right, all being subjected to some truly bizarre and often dangerous experiments.
And we're talking about LSD, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be the drug most associated with MKUltra.
It's the poster child, for sure. But it wasn't just LSD. They experimented with a whole cocktail of psychoactive substances.
Okay. Like what?
Hallucinogens, barbiturates, amphetamines, anything that could alter perception, break down inhibitions, you name it.
I see. And why the focus on LSD?
LSD was fascinating to them because it was so powerful, so unpredictable. They thought it could be the key to unlocking the secrets of the mind, controlling behavior.
But they didn't just stick to drugs, did they?
Yeah.
Robinson mentions other methods too, right?
Oh, yeah. Hypnosis, sensory deprivation, electroshock therapy.
Electroshock therapy, that's a little...
Intense, yeah, to say the least. It's hard to believe this was all happening under the banner of national security.
It's truly mind-boggling at the lengths they went to.
And the way they administered some of these substances, I mean, slipping LSD into people's drinks without their knowledge? Come on.
That's messed up.
Totally. Robinson even talks about these CIA safe houses disguised as brothels. Yeah, part of Operation Midnight Climax.
Wait, Operation Midnight Climax, seriously?
Yep, that's what they called it. They'd lure unsuspecting men there, dose them with LSD, and observe their behavior.
Wow. I mean, what were they hoping to achieve with all of this? Did they even have a clear end game?
Well, that's where things get murky.
Murky how?
Some experiments seem to have a specific goal, like finding a truth serum or a way to induce amnesia.
Okay, that makes sense.
But others were more, well, exploratory, almost like they were just messing around with people's minds to see what would happen.
So not always a lot of scientific rigor then.
Robinson argues that MKUltra often lacked proper methodology. Plus, a lot of the documentation was either shoddy or intentionally destroyed, making it difficult to track their progress or even their intentions.
So we're left with more questions than answers.
Exactly. And it's a sobering reminder that even in organizations like the CIA, personal ambition and a lack of oversight can lead to some pretty dark places.
Yeah, that's scary to think about. But how did all of this stay hidden for so long? You'd think someone would have blown the whistle eventually.
Well, the CIA was very good at keeping secrets.
Good at keeping secrets. They were masters at it.
Exactly. They used front organizations, disguised experiments as legitimate research, compartmentalized information so that only a select few knew the full picture.
So it was a deliberate and systematic effort to keep everything under wraps.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what they say? Every secret has its expiration date.
And MKUltra's time was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did the truth finally come out?
Well, it was a combination of factors.
Like what?
You had investigative journalists sniffing around, congressional committees starting to ask questions.
And a growing public distrust of the government, right?
Exactly. The Watergate scandal was unfolding at the same time, which really fueled that sense of paranoia and suspicion.
Yeah, Watergate was a game changer.
No doubt. It made people realize that the government was capable of some pretty shady stuff.
Right, so it wasn't just one big reveal.
Yeah.
More like a slow trickle of information that eventually turned into a flood.
That's a good way to put it. And once that dam broke, there was no stopping it.
Wow. So what were some of the key moments that brought MKUltra into the light?
Well, there was the Senate committee in 1975, led by Senator Frank Church.
Yeah, the Church Committee, right?
Yep. They were tasked with investigating intelligence agency abuses, and during their hearings, details about MKUltra started to emerge.
And that was a turning point, right? Suddenly it wasn't just rumors and speculation anymore.
Right. It was official confirmation that the CIA had been conducting these mind control experiments for decades, and on American citizens, no less.
And how did the public react to these revelations? I mean, this had to be pretty shocking stuff.
It was a bombshell. People were outraged. This wasn't just some far-off threat. It was happening right here at home, and the government was responsible.
Yeah. Robinson focuses quite a bit on the case of Dr. Frank Olson.
Yeah, poor guy.
A CIA scientist who died under very mysterious circumstances after being unknowingly dosed with LSD.
His case became a symbol of the recklessness of MKUltra, the devastating consequences it had on its victims.
A tragedy for sure. But it also raises the question, did anyone ever face consequences for what happened?
Well, that's where things get even more frustrating. The CIA had been so good at covering their tracks.
Destroying documents, compartmentalizing information.
Exactly. So it was incredibly difficult to hold anyone accountable for what happened.
So despite all the public outcry, the shocking revelations, no one was ever really held responsible for these actions.
Sadly, that's largely the case. There were some lawsuits, a few financial settlements, but no criminal charges were ever filed.
It's almost unbelievable, really. The head of the CIA at the time, Richard Helms, even claimed that MKUltra was a rogue operation.
Yeah, he tried to distance himself from it, said he had no knowledge of what was going on.
Which is